All right, let's take a look at some free agent quarterbacks who can run Kevin Stefanski's system. This, according to Dog Pound Daily. They come up with Jameis Winston. You see the age and the salary. Marcus Mariota, Mitchell Trubisky, Teddy Bridgewater. Any of those grab your fancy? None of them are making me jump up and down. Just thoughts on one of those guys coming in.
You know what I think of those guys. We're in the same fantasy league, and I picked them all up.
I know you like Mitchell Trubisky, and I know you're intrigued by Jameis Winston. What do you think they would do in that?
Yeah. Here's the thought, okay? Personally, if you ask me, I've seen a lot of Baker Mayfield. You've seen a lot of Baker Mayfield. He's a 500 quarterback so far in his career. Now, the Browns have not been very good, okay? That's not all on Baker, certainly. But I personally think going into the fifth year and knowing there's a big decision to make on the other side and whether you're going to invest the big money in Baker or not, I personally think Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, and Mitch Trubisky are at least comparable options to Baker Mayfield, at least. I say that because I think their best years are really still ahead of them. You know, Jameis played well in Tampa 1 year, other than interceptions. Then he went to New Orleans and he really kind of curtailed that. Mitch Trubisky look at his numbers comparable to Baker's through the first 3 years, even throughout Baker's injury season here. And they're real comparable. And in that situation, you kind of think, well, all right. My thought is, if you didn't have the decision with Baker coming up, Dave, I think it's a different story. But you're going to have to decide whether you want to invest huge long-term dollars in him, and I don't know that you do. And you either know now. I think if you go into next year wondering, then you already have your answer. My thought.
Yeah. Again, I can't argue with how you arrive at that. Again, that's got to be such a tough decision for Andrew Berry. The one thing is they know better than all of us, and they haven't told us how much of a factor the injury was. We don't know that. That's the piece we do not know.
Bridgewater is different than those other three guys because the minute you bring in Bridgewater, I think Teddy's best years are behind him. I think his injuries were really tough, and though I think he can play quarterback, if you brought in Teddy Bridgewater, you're thinking, who's your next quarterback? If you bring in Mariota, Trubisky, or Jameis Winston, you think we may have our next quarterback, and you're going to wait to see. So if you're only going to go a year with Baker and wait and see, I think I'd rather go wait and see with Winston or Mariota or Trubisky.
Yeah, again, it's kind of personal choice. None of them, they're kind of all bunched together, like we've said.